All right, guys, welcome. This is Emin here, your six-figure cybersecurity coach. And in this call, our amazing coach Matthew is also joining me because we will talk about something very important, right? Many times we get the questions here at Peak Cyber Institute, our members as well, or also on social media. I want to join cybersecurity. I want to join this field. I want to become a cybersecurity professional. I want to make six figures and beyond, but I'm not coming from a technical background. How is that going to work? How can I fix this problem? What are the best strategies to overcome this so that you can also start experiencing it? This is the topic, and this is what we will cover with our, amazing coach Matthew. Welcome. Good to have you. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Emin. Great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on this call. Great to share some thoughts and have a chat about this awesome topic.
Of course, of course. It's like, in our sessions, we talk about this together, help our clients as well. And I thought, okay, you know what? Why don't we just record this quick session together with Matthew so that we can talk about if someone is interested and they want to learn more about the process, more about us, and also more about like how to fix this problem. So the question is, once again, how can someone integrate the past non-cyber experience? Let's say you are not coming from penetration testing background. You're not coming from cybersecurity background, but you want to be one. You want to join the field. And maybe you're not even coming from a technical background, right? What is the best strategy that you can turn your background and start getting the interviews and the job offers as well? Matthew, obviously, like you've been doing this for so long, and in your experience, and also in our sessions, like with our clients, what are the top tips? Like, what are the best strategies that anyone can follow to become a cybersecurity professional to join the field?
It's such a great question. And, I think the first thing is to realize that no matter what background you come from, you have particular skills and strengths and qualities that are unique to you and that make you particularly special. No matter if you were a psychologist or an engineer or whatever you were previously, you have a particular set of skills that make you unique and that you can use going into cybersecurity, which combined with the cybersecurity technical training help to create a very unique package that will really help you to stand out. And so I think the first thing is really to help you to understand that you bring a very unique package when you come into the cybersecurity field, and to know what that package is and to know what your strengths and your particular skills are. And rather than seeing it as a liability, seeing it as a strength and seeing it as a quality that can be used to actually help you to get a job rather than to hinder you from getting one. So let me just pause there and see if there are any sort of follow-ups on that point before moving on.
Sure. I mean, what I understand then in that case, there are two major elements like phases. First of all, bring whatever you can. That's what I understand. Like transfer the skills that you have. And number two, develop the skills, get the training so that you combine your background plus like the new up-to-date skills that you need for your next role. But in the case, very practical terms, let's say someone is coming from teaching background. Okay, maybe not very comfortable with IT, not very comfortable with technology. And the way that we see, right, in the ecosystem right now on the news, oh, ethical hackers, penetration testers, cryptographers, and programming languages. And people think, oh my God, that's too complicated. But in reality, we know that there are lots of different available options for people that they don't have to know all those things. In fact, they need to focus on different things. But again, coming back to the question, if someone is coming from teaching background, not necessarily technical background, like how can that person apply these strategies?
Yeah, and I think as a teacher, again, so what are the skills that you bring as a teacher? Well, I think number one, you're likely to be a very good communicator. I think you're likely to be very good with people and building relationships and connecting, helping other people to see their strengths, even though it may be a slightly younger generation, but still you have that ability and that skill to help other people to see their strengths. And then communicating potentially technical skills, communicating other terms and theories to people in a way that makes sense to them in their language. And so I think all of those skills you can bring into the cybersecurity field, and it will help you to, if you're a great communicator, so that's a great asset anywhere you go. And I think within the cybersecurity field, if you can communicate clearly with your team, with your manager, with other departments, I think that immediately is a great asset for you. If you have great relationship skills, I think that it helps you to, better solve problems because you're able to leverage the strengths of others by communicating with them and leveraging off what they have to offer, combining it with your skills to help solve a problem, rather than you being the only person that's trying to solve a problem and you're not able to leverage anybody else's skills and strengths. And being able to understand what the strengths and skills of others are at the same time will help you to create a more diversified solution to the problem, and will help you to be more, have a greater understanding as to all the possible solutions that can go into fixing a problem. So you have all of those skills that you can bring in, combined with your cybersecurity technical skills, is a very powerful package.
I love it. I love it. Especially like now that you're talking about this in my professional experience as well. Right. And what I see in the ecosystem, many times people think, oh, let me just get the technical skills. It's fine. Obviously, you need to know what you're talking about. Maybe you don't have to be the world-class expert on everything that you do, but at least at the level. And many times people do have those skills. I sometimes talk with people and they're like, they have certain certifications. They know how to find their way around on computers, etc. But when it comes to acknowledging and paying attention to those soft skills, communication skills, unfortunately, they're awful. They don't know how to communicate effectively. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't know the importance of teamwork, for example, even exchanging emails, even, for example, going through some documents and putting together, like, for example, good looking and with no grammar mistakes whatsoever documents. Maybe they don't pay attention to that because no one has ever, told them, hey, this is important. But as we know in cyber, there are lots of different fields, especially within the policy, risk, compliance pillar. There are roles that anyone can get if you find your way around on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and if you can go through some documents and policies that you can ask questions to relevant individuals in the companies and then collect the answers, putting together those reports, you can join the field. But many times people think, oh, it's not, I'm not a technical provider. I don't have the computer science degree, etc. So what you're telling me then in this case is those soft skills and process skills are so valuable, especially when it comes to transferring what you know towards your ideal job. Do I get that right? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. And I think it's a lot more difficult to learn soft skills than it is to learn technical skills. Yes, it may take time to learn specific technical skills, but it's very difficult to teach someone the art of good communication if they don't have that. It's very difficult to teach someone the art of how to solve a problem if they don't have that ability to solve a problem, or to build relationships, etc., or to answer emails in a professional way, or whatever the case may be. So I think having those soft skills is such a great bonus and benefit to you as you enter into the job market. And you can learn the technical side of things. You can learn the cybersecurity skills and theories and strategies and techniques and that sort of thing. But if you have those soft skills to start off with, then I think that's a massive boost to your career.
I love it. I love it. And at this stage, I have a confession to make at this stage. Let me just tell you what that is. ISC squared, CSSP, everyone knows CSSP, like it's probably the #1 certification. And ISC squared is the international body that issues those certifications, right? Back then, many years back, like going back to 6, 7 years, when people asked me, hey, I want to join cybersecurity, I'm not coming from a technical background, how can I do this? How can I transform my skills? I told them back then, hey, you know what? Did you know 1 out of 5 cybersecurity professionals joined the field actually from a non-technical background? Back then, I was, telling this. I've been telling this, until today. But quite recently, I think it was yesterday, IC Squared, published a new article, very fresh. And I'm literally reading the article. They say they have found a growing trend of newcomers joining the cybersecurity profession at older ages. That's one, because, for example, if someone is worried about, like, for example, the age, maybe you are like 45, 50, even 60, right? Here's the good news, with 48% of new entrants joining at age 39 or older. That's one. But even beyond that, Matthew, what's really interesting is we are seeing a change, and there are different pathways to cyber. Back then, statistically, 1 out of 5 professionals joined the field from a non-IT background. Right now, it is 39%, almost a whopping 40%. That's 2 out of 5 professionals joining the field from a non-IT background. Just like you mentioned, like teachers, I remember Ina as well, and pharmacists are joining, like project management, military, business, like anyone can do this if they know how to use those transferable skills and also value the importance of it, right? Just like you mentioned, it's, first of all, you need to acknowledge the fact that they are important. And the second question is how to do this. That's a different question, but what would the best way, now that kind of like putting everything together, transferable skills, what would you recommend? Someone, hey, okay, I want to do this, but I don't know if my process or people's skills are transferable. I don't know how to identify them. I don't know how to find the best job that I can use those skills. Any tips or any recommendations if someone is like coming from that kind of background or have these questions?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question and really interesting stat as well. It's a very encouraging stat to think that, people from all different walks of life and careers are coming into cybersecurity. And I think, use that as an encouragement for yourself. Other people are doing it. There's no reason why you can't as well. But I think just to answer your question, I mean, I think I always believe in thinking, taking some time for yourself and sitting down and thinking about, in my current job, in my previous jobs, what are the things that I've done really well? What are the strengths that I've developed or that I have? And what are specific situations that I can bring up or specific scenarios that I can bring up where I've illustrated those specific strengths? So, and those are then, because in an interview setting, if you put on your resume, I'm a great communicator, I'm a great problem solver, etc., there's a chance that in the interview they're going to say, can you give me an example of how you've illustrated your problem solving strength in previous roles? It doesn't have to be in a cybersecurity setting, but the point is to think about how have you practically used those specific skills in previous work environments? And again, it might be in a managerial setting in a corporate workplace, it might be as a teacher, it might be whatever it might be. But I think as long as you're able to think about practical scenarios where you've used those skills and you've used those strengths and you can practically apply them rather than just saying I have the skill of communication or problem solving, etc., but this is how I practically applied it. I think that's what they want to see in the workplace, is they want to see the practical application of skills, and so that's why soft skills also are so important, is it's a very practical skill. If you're able to go through a specific course, you study specific theories and concepts and terminology and that sort of thing, there's no saying whether you're actually going to be able to apply those skills in the workplace. But if you have the skill of communication, you can show that you can practically apply it. I think that can be used in any work environment, really.
I love it. And I think there's also psychological reason behind this, Matthew, because people tend to underestimate what they know and then overestimate what they don't have. So for example, people, many times I see, I don't have those skills. They're important. I don't have it. Here comes the problem. I don't have those years of experiences, right? I don't have it. I don't have those kind of certificates, like whatever, because, oh my God, that's a big thing and I don't have it yet. But when it comes to what they know, what they have already, oh, it's nothing. I just have, and I literally had conversations like amazing professionals with 2, 3 decades of experience. They're absolutely amazing. They can do a lot of amazing things, okay? It's really support the organizations out there. But when it comes to, for example, focusing on their careers, they tend to focus on what they don't have, okay? And then they have the imposter syndrome. And then they think, oh, it's nothing. It's just like process skills. But a lot of people have no idea how to write proper emails, how to communicate effectively. I think there's also that psychological element. Maybe we can cover that in detail later. But it seems like when someone fixes those problems, okay, whatever that I bring, they're valuable as long as I know how to implement it the right way. That's the strategy element. And that's the background, right? That's the transferable skills. But how do you connect the dots between, okay, now that you identify, apply, you are able to apply your transferable skills towards your ideal cybersecurity job, because there are like more than 200 job titles. Which one is the right fit for you? And obviously, they cannot just show up to the companies and say, I'm interested, hire me, and then, you won't regret. And then obviously, it doesn't work that way. They want to see something first. When it comes to building those practical skills, job experiences, really polishing what they need to know and kind of learning those bits. Any recommendations in your experience? Like, how can they do this? What are the tips? What do they need to pay attention to, for example?
Yeah, I think it's sort of number one, I think it's building practical thoughts into your resume, into your cover letter, so that you're not just saying things like, I have communication, but this is how I've used communication in my previous role. It's not that I just have problem solving, but this is how I've solved the problem previously in one of my previous roles. So I think it's really showing those practical experiences that you have. And I think, again, something that you mentioned, which I'm a big proponent of, is focus on what you have and not what you don't have. Even in like an interview setting, I've heard it so many times where people say, I may not have the experience required from cybersecurity perspective, but I have this, that, and the next thing. the interviewer will be so focused on, okay, but you just said this now, there must be something here in what you don't have. So I'm going to focus on this rather than the things that you said you do have. So as you design resumes, as you design job applications, really focus in on what you do have and why you think it's such a big skill. What are the practical things that make up that specific skill? What are the things you've done in the past? If you've got a promotion, what has helped you to get a promotion, etc. And really focusing on your achievements and your strengths, because you're brilliant the way that you are and with the skills that you do have. And we can then help you to acquire the cybersecurity skills and technical trainings. So I think that would be my main goal, main focus.
So in a way, what I understand from you, when they get that part done right, okay, that's my goal. These are the applicable, relevant abilities, aptitude, skills that I have from my project management background, from my teaching background. And I get people from, for example, different backgrounds like service industry, hospitality industry, working as a waiter, maybe work as a driver, and there are like so many different things, and they might think, oh, it's not a white collar experience. It is not relevant. But in reality, you know how to deal with difficult people and situations. Isn't it the same that you apply in the professional world? What I understand is, okay, you know what? Just take a deep breath and acknowledge the fact that you have a lot to offer if you recognize them and acknowledge them first. And there are lots of different ways, right? I mean, starting with reading books, watching videos, and many times we can, and maybe all the times right now, we can find anything that we want online. We can just go there. There's YouTube, Udemy, but at the same time, it's just like reading books to lose weight. Okay, everyone knows how to lose weight. You need to pay attention to your diet. You need to go to, for example, gym and pay attention to your fitness. But then most people don't do it. So it's not just the theory, knowledge, but it's the application of knowledge. And I think that's the key distinction there, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And so thinking about, number one, what have you done in the past that was practical application of the skills that you have? And number two, what can you do moving forward to help you to get the practical application of the skills you would like to acquire, or whatever the case may be. So 100%, it's a lot about, saying you have skills, but then proving that you can practically apply those skills and building up further experiences, practical experiences that'll help you to acquire those specific skills or get better at that specific skill. So 100%
complete package, Matthew, isn't it? Like you have that, and now you have that as well. And then obviously how to put together the resume, the marketing materials, how to approach the interviews, etc. Like we can talk about this maybe in different sessions, but if you're watching this, my friends, and if you're interested in like, okay, I get that part down right. Okay, now I understand I can join this field too. I just don't know how. And there are lots of different options that you can choose from. First of all, just take a look at other videos that we have in the channel. Okay. We have talked about how to get started cybersecurity analyst, GRC in detail, how to use your personality, etc. That's step number one. Also, step number two, just head over to www.cybertransform.com, and then you will understand in a very short amount of time how to build your cyber authority so that you can not only transfer the skills and abilities, but when you apply, you can simply get ahead of your competitors, because regardless of the skills, regardless of how many different certifications we have, whatever that you can bring, it's likely that there's always someone who knows more than you. But then what is the difference maker? How to put that authority front and center, that even if your background seems a bit maybe off, even if you're coming from the field, joining the cybersecurity from a different field, how to build that authority and how to close the gap as quickly as possible and build six figures, multiple six figures in this economy right now, and grow your career. Just head over to www.cybertransform.com to learn more. By the way, our book, Cyber Transform, will be released on Amazon very soon. So stay tuned. We'll also announce that in the channel so that you can also read that book as well. And also just reach out to us if you have any questions at all. You can just, drop your comments and questions below, and then we'll get back to you on an individual basis. So Coach Matthew, myself, and other coaches here at Peak Cyber Institute with the Cyber Transform program, here to help, and let's make it happen. Matthew, any last words, final words for people who joined our session today, watched the video until now?
Yeah, I think just know your value, know what you've got to this point in your life by doing certain things and having certain skills and certain qualities, know what those are, and be very focused on illustrating and demonstrating those, whether it's in an interview, through your resume, through the way that you talk in networking scenarios, those sorts of things. Don't try and include all 95 skills that you see on a specific job advert, but really focus in on the ones that you bring that are particularly unique to you and that you can talk about in an interview or a networking session or whatever. So really know yourself, know your brand, know what you bring. And if you need help acquiring technical skills, then absolutely, there are lots of opportunities to be able to do that. But you have a lot already that you can bring to the cybersecurity industry. So I think that's what I would end off with.
100%. 100%. Coach Matthew, many thanks for taking the time. We'll do this more often so that we can help as many people as possible, because we are on a mission to help 10,000 people around the world. Around the world, it's not just the United States, it's not just the United Kingdom or Canada or Europe. There are lots of amazing professionals from different parts of the world. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, all amazing professionals joining the field. And we are on a mission to help 10,000 people accomplish that and beyond. So stay tuned. This is Emin. Thanks for joining, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.